Tomberland.
End of message. To erase this message, press 7. To send a reply message, press message erased. Next message. Hi, Glendora. It's Pat Brown calling. I have some information for you about the buying gravy mix in bulk. I have purchased for you Vegenaise and nutritional yeast. And I have found out that honestly it carries turnips just about all year round.
Yeah, but they're those purple tops.
Get back to me as soon as
I want a regular turnip.
I'll talk to you about that and arrange a time to bring you the nutritional yeast and the Vegenaise.
She came this afternoon.
Bye-bye.
$18.
End of message. To erase this message, press 7. To send a reply message, message erased.
Marilyn says, I haven't slept for days. And Carolyn says, well, try sleeping nights. Why is this picture so fuzzy? That's the envelope box, 9.5 by 12. This is Friday the 13th of October, 2017, Anno Domini AD. And this is a chat with Glendora, reminding all of us that our happiness is inside of us, that our soul is the God that's inside of us, and that our conscience is the voice of that soul, and that our conscience says, give up evil, give up ego, go out and help others. What did you do to help others yesterday, Glendora? Well, I tried very hard to help Timothy and Charlotte Owen. I invited them to dinner, and it was a very good dinner as far as health goes, and as far as vegan goes. No animals, no animal products. We had vegetarian roast, simply delectable. You have to cook it 80 minutes. We had Maine potatoes baked. We had sweet potatoes baked. We had mint jelly. We had apple juice to drink. They declined the bread. They didn't want any bread at all. And it would have been Ezekiel bread, high grain, all grain, good grain. And what else? Well, you have to lay the foundation of the day. Up and wash and bathroom and housework and take care of the kitty cat. The kitty cat hasn't left the envelope box, 9.5 by 12 envelope box for 5 or 6 days now. And then, did you finish reviewing Joy book number 435? Yes. And what's your score on that? Bad. Most of it's illegible. In order to be legible now, the letters have to be about ½ an inch. And it's hard to remember to write a ½ inch tall, and it interferes with what you're trying to think of writing. Okay. Focus on large lettering. So again, this is a chat with Glendora, reminding us all that the happiness is inside. The happiness is helping others. The happiness is leaving yourself behind, as Jesus Christ put it. Put yourself last, as Jesus Christ said it, over and over again. Those who are last will be first. Those who are first will be last. And so then what happened? Let's remember the Bible passage of Soul to Soul Sunday, which was Philippians 4:13. Is that right? Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And who is Christ? Christ is helping others. Who is God? God is helping others. Well, alrighty. In Christ there is no east or west, in him no north or south, but one great fellowship of love throughout the whole wide earth. Exercise body, the calisthenics. Seems like there's enough exercise around this house. And the new asphalt, took a video of that for you. It's superbly done. Thank you, Mr. Remington, who didn't want to be videoed. The laundry room door opens hard. And out behind the garage to get .com some grass, bring it back to feed it to her piece by piece. And while I'm getting the grass ready, she's purring. Because she's going to have some grass. That's very endearing, .com. And then the what happened in the year 2016 on October 12th, and it said work up to date. And for October 13th it said work up to date. And then the Glendora Vegetarian Club, as to what has happened on it, and a lot happened. Sue Casey bought 6 cans of green beans cut, 6 cans of Campbell tomato soup, 3 packages of Morningstar Farms hamburger crumbles, and 5 pounds of Maine potatoes. And that's what we will have on the last Wednesday of this month. It'll be a clove casserole. The string beans, the hamburger, vegetarian hamburger, the tomato soup, and cloves with mashed potato, like a shepherd's pie. Vegetarian. What did that cost? That cost about $40. That's not bad. We spent up to $300. We spent up to $350 on Glendora Vegetarian Club suppers. And the rest of the groceries were $63. And then we didn't have change, so I gave Sue a gift of $7. Plus $5 into the Christmas jar. Plus $5 into the Christmas jar for Pat Nichols, who brought us 3 jars of vegan maize, vegetarian mayonnaise. And what did that cost? That cost $11. And a new container of nutritionyeastforyou.com cost $6. And $5 into the Christmas jar for Pat. I'm still looking for turnips. I know they had the purple tops, but no, I want a turnip. An orange old-fashioned turnip, this big, not this big. And you know where I can find them? I have the white pumpkin. Why is the pumpkin white instead of orange? Well, I'm glad to have you nearby and to see you, pumpkin, and take care of you. $122 for .com's vegetarian meats or vegan meats, and also for the daily consumption, everyday meat and potatoes, vegetarian meat and potatoes. That's what I hope everybody will do. They have meat and potatoes, good, but make it vegan meat or vegetarian meat and potatoes with a nice green vegetable and gravy. We didn't have gravy yesterday. I was going to ask Timothy to make the gravy, but it was too complex getting the whole dinner together and served. The service was terrible. The aesthetics were really bad, but the food was good. And so what else? Well, they didn't get here until about 11:30, so I was filling in the time, was making the entries from the daily sheet, the money that had been spent in September from the daily sheet, putting it over to the monthly sheet, and that got done. Or then they came, and then Timmy and I had a terrible time entering telephone numbers into the computer phone for the voice search, the voice dial. I can't do anything but voice dial. I can't see the index cards with the number on it, and I can't see the dial screen on the telephone. The conversation was sort of pedestrian. Nothing came out of it really great. But we had a lot of jokes, and they are very good people to watch to laugh. I like to watch people laugh. So that was 3 hours. What are the stats on the Vegetarian Club? Just a second. I wrote them down for you. Well, I'll give them to you by memory. Nearly 800 hours, in fact over 800 hours, and 679 pages in the log, and $19,200. And I haven't put in the ones that I told you for yesterday. 122, 40, and 11. So that's going to bring it up to like 350, 19,350. Timmy and Charlotte stuck it out for 3 hours, then they left at 2:30. Timmy didn't help me with the reading the Canon. I think the Canon is out of focus, and I've got to go onto the big screen and read that touch screen. I've got the big TV screen and read that touch screen. See if I can work it out. I don't think I can. And then Timmy didn't read what was on the Hewlett-Packard for me, and he didn't read what was on the computer phone. And I was going to ask Charlotte to read to you, pass it on, what was in the magazine for Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. No experimentation on dogs and cats and other animals. That would have been first class. So when they left at 2:30, I had energy enough to hobble to the bed and sleep from 2:30 to 3:45, an hour and a quarter. When I go out, that's the way it is. I have to come home and sleep. And when people come here, company, I have to go to sleep afterwards. But refreshed and finish those figures from the month to the year sheet, and 10 telephone calls. Then it was dark. Oh, and put the rice to cook. No, macaroni. We're giving the animals macaroni. Take it out for them. Go upstairs and get the in-mail. We had about 50 shows returned on DVD discs, and we had the advertiser with the announcement of the Glendora Vegetarian Club on page 13. And we had a return from Richard Campana, the second return from Richard Campana, who sponsors the show on Boston Neighborhood Network. Is that all? Yes. To bed at 6:50, sleeping on and off, up and down, and in the middle of the night a peanut butter sandwich on Ezekiel bread. .com purring on top of my chest or lying on my side. And that's it. I'm ready for yours. I want to hear how you helped others. And the great satisfaction it gave you, although that's the wrong way to put it. Great satisfaction it gave all of us, your help. I wish I could help Charlotte. I wish I could help her. She would be best helped by helping others, but she isn't really. She's got obstacles of being able to help others. Okay. Again, this is Chat with Glendora, reminding us all that we are all one, that we are all joyfully and happily working together to make the universe better, to keep it going and growing. That's what it's all about. I think I should write a letter, or maybe I should personally appear before the Village Board of Nassau and say that we all must give thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Otterbeck, to Det and Julie Otterbeck, for the embellishments they have made on Elm Street, how they've washed the house, how they did that asphalt, how they went way down to the studs, or struts, what do you call them, and hold up the walls, or fill in the walls, and refurbish those 2 apartments, made them Class A. We give them credit for the gas. What's that gas? That has to come out of the ground and go into the air. And it's lethal. Radon. And how they put fire extinguishers in, how they put in a new chandelier, how they put in all new bathrooms, all new bathroom facilities, on and on and on. New carpeting, polyurethane, the woodwork, painting the shelves of the closets, of the cupboards inside, beautiful white, 3 coats of paint, new rugs. We all must be thankful to Mr. and Mrs. Otterbeck for their solicitude also. It's so nice to have an owner who likes you and who cares for you and who is solicitous. No jokes? What are we going to do about the jokes? I don't think there's any other way out. We'll just have to go way back to the first one of the 700 and tell them to you all over again. What else is there? Bob Hope spent so much money paying people to write his jokes. Can you call a person a comedian after that? I saw Bob Hope on several occasions and I never knew him to be funny. But his writers wrote funny jokes. Alrighty. Lord, dismiss us with by blessing. Fill our hearts with joy and peace. Let us each. Thanks.com. What are you saying with your tail? You're saying something. You like something or you dislike it? That looks like you dislike it. And that looks like you dislike it. I think she dislikes my talking. Oh, refresh us. Oh, refresh us. Traveling through this universe. Now see if her tail stops. Give Robert Clement applause, who's running public access in Long Island for Altice. He sent back 58 chats with Glendora, TV shows, some of them 2 hours, some of them half hours. He packaged it perfectly. He sent them back within 3 or 4 days. Accolades for Robert Clement. Hauppauge, Long Island. Now you see that peanut butter jar, folks? It was about as empty as you can get it with a spoon and a fork. Not a fork, but a knife. And then I took it to the birds, and look at it. It's licked clean. It's licked clean, folks. Now those animals are hungry. That's why we cannot miss one feeding, morning and evening. We just can't. Those animals are hungry. And they enjoyed every molecule of that peanut butter. And .com enjoyed about 8 pieces of grass, which is a good number. And it's so grand to be able to get her grass in the middle of October. And it's good grass, too. Fasted until noon. Oh boy, time to eat. Now how does this look? This is called tater rounds, a processed potato, petite peas, veggie roast, Swiss steak, vegetarian Swiss steak. Does that sound good? That's meat and potatoes, veggie meat and potatoes. And then over here, mint jelly and apple juice and apple and raisin cut up. Rita Lilly saw a chat with Glendora on Brooklyn Public Access TV. It used to be called BCAT, Brooklyn Community Access TV. That cat is so comfortable. This is her 4th or 5th day in that box. And Rita wants to get me magnifier glasses, the one that costs $1 or $2 or $3. And I told her that I have a whole collection of those. People keep giving them to me. They are not the answer. They do not help. And then she wants me to get a cane so that I can get up more gracefully. Well, thank you, thank you. And she says that BCAT is playing the program, cable casting the program, 10:30 a.m. Fridays, and has for 10 years. Thank you, BCAT. Thank you, Brooklyn Free Speech. Thank you, Anthony Riddle. But that's a long way to look at it, that you have to remember there was 88 years of springing out of the chair. Fine. So this is the 89th year. And that's still another thing about what's wrong of that view is you have to be thankful that you're able to get up by yourself. You're able to get up without machinery. You're able to get up without a cane. You're able to walk. You're able to stand up. I think that's the way to look at it. You look at what you have and what you, instead of what you don't have, right? So she wanted to donate money. She wanted me to get the cane for $40. Well, what am I going to do about that? I say, I would like to see the money go to the animals, but then I wouldn't like to ask her to do that. That was so nice of her, and so generous, and sweet-tempered. Thank you. We all thank you. All of us together thank you for that, Rita. Rita Lilly in Brooklyn. Now, let's see what we have for in-calls. God of grace and God of glory, on thy people pour thy power. Crown thine ancient church's story, bring to bud her glorious flower. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, for the facing of this hour. For the facing of this hour.
I'm sorry. Please enter your password and press pound. You have one new voice message. To listen to your messages, press 1. First voice message. Glendora, I'm sorry, it's Suzanne. We were unable to take your call. We're in a store, and also we have the lawyer constantly working with us. He wants to get these papers in. So it's been very hectic. So anyway, I wonder maybe if it's better, I'll be more relaxed if we can talk maybe like Saturday or Sunday if you're around. I know I called you and then, now we're all tied up here with things. So anyway, I hope all is well, but I just thought maybe Saturday or Sunday may be a better day. Tomorrow we have some other things to do and got to tie up things with the lawyer. Okay, I think he seems like an honest guy and he's really trying because the other side is really dirty, the other people. So anyway, okay, I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, she wanted to know if I was going to be around, and I am not around, I am a square. And this thing with a lawyer is not going to work. There's no such things as a good lawyer.
Press 2. To change your personal options, please enter the destination as a 10-digit mailbox number or a group distribution list number. Then press.
That's what's ruined them for 25 or 30 years are the lawyers. It was the lawyers who stole the $23 million that Suzanne's husband left to her. It's the lawyers who took it, and the lawyers working with the banks, the Deutsche Bank, Bankers Trust, which was convicted of being a felon. Yes, the bank was convicted of being a felon. No, Suzanne, it's not going to work, and you hope and spend your life, and that's all you can do is try to get that money back. There's no happiness in that, Sue. But I don't know what the answer is. It's a pretty bad thing to stand by and let somebody take your inheritance of $23 million or $56 million or whatever it was. She lost her home in Florida. She lost her home in Dobbs Ferry. These were very valuable properties, up into the millions. She's the one that I sent the $500 to when they came and told her you had 10 minutes to get out of here. When her house was, what do you call that? Foreclosed. They came and said, you have 10 minutes to get out of here. And she was in her robe, her night robe. And it just broke my heart. And I scrounged around and got $500 to send her. Not that it did any good, other than it showed her somebody cared, and not everybody is a crook. That's Suzanne's story, and Suzanne, the most important thing you can do is to come up here and get this story on video, the entire story. It needs to be known. Glendora, you're not supposed to think about evil. That's good though, isn't it? Okay. Let's see what else there is for messages. And she's a concert
Please enter
pianist.
your password, then press pound.
What? Password.
I'm sorry. This number is not valid.
I have trouble seeing this faint
You
screen.
have no new messages in your mailbox.
Why
To
did they
send
make
a
it so
message,
faint?
press 2. To change your personal options, press 4. To disconnect, press star. Personal options. To turn message waiting indicator on or off,
Can you
press
think
1.
of a joke to
To
tell
change
them?
administrative options, press 2. To record greetings, press 3. For pager notification settings, press 4. To exit, press star.
Hi there, folks.
Personal options. To turn message waiting indicator on or off, press 1. To change administrative options, press 2. Record greetings. To select a standard greeting with your your greeting has been recorded at the tone. Record your greeting. At the end of your greeting, press pound.
Hi there, folks. It's Glendora, and it's Friday the 13th, and the mother said, did you thank Mrs. Baxter for the lovely birthday party she gave the children? And the little girl says, well, I was standing in line and I was going to thank her, and the girl in front of me thanked her, and then Mrs. Baxter said, don't mention it, so I didn't.
Personal options. To turn message waiting indicator on or off, message waiting indicator on. Message waiting indicator now on. Personal options. To turn message waiting indicator on. You have pressed an incorrect key. Message waiting indicator.
So, what do we do about jokes? We're down to the end of the collection of 700 jokes, 700 or more. We've gone through them several times over the years. 80s, the 90s, 2000 to 2010, 2011 to 2020, we're in 2017. Do we go through them again, folks? I guess so. We have to have jokes. We have to have jokes. People need them. And no matter what their troubles are, they always seem to laugh. And that's a great thing to see. We have to see people laugh. Okie doke. Now let me see if I can press the right key. Lunch is cooking. Fasted until 12:40. You're going to like the lunch.com. It's got vegetarian Swiss steak and vegetarian roast, that vegetarian roast that you like so much. Thank you, everybody, for all the happiness you bring the world, for all the happiness you bring me and those around me. This is a chat with Glendora, and a chat with Glendora is not a lecture, it's not a sermon, it's not tautological, it's not academic. Well, what is it then? Well, it's just a reminder that everything you need to know is inside of you, and you don't have to go anywhere else for it. It's inside of you. God is inside of you. The soul is the God inside of you. And please don't be concerned about the soul leaving this body. It's going to do it. The soul has accomplished what it wanted to accomplish in this body. The soul needs a new body, and it will go off and it will do great and wondrous things. And that's all part of keeping the universe going and growing. And don't be concerned about the back or the legs or the vision or the hearing. They've done their work. And the attitude is to rejoice at how good they are today. A few days down the line they may not be that good. And we would look back to the time when they were as good as they were today. Isn't that right? And about the eyesight, I don't think it's a cataract. Maybe. No, it isn't. I don't have a cataract, I have a Rinkin. In fact, 2 Rinkins. But I notice that when I dim my eye and get the eyesight down to a slit like that, I can see very plainly. So I think what has happened is that the, whatever it is, has loosened up, don't you? It's loosened up and widened up, and that dims the vision, don't you think? All right. Let's look at the joys of yesterday, Friday the 13th of October. One joy, folks, is the weather. The seasons are late, or they're late. They may not be late, but anyway, they're not the same as they used to be. They seem to be about 2 or 3 weeks behind. The spring seems to be later coming than it used to, and fall seems to be coming later than it used to. Do you get that impression? Okay, what's the first thing to do? The 5 o'clock alarm, 5 alarm, and up, and able to walk to the bathroom, and to do the ablutions, and to brush, and to take care of the litter pan. Counting pure thoughts all the time? Oh yes. And giving thanks and rejoicing? Oh yes. Yes. And the first hymn of the day is Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. Early in the morning, 5 a.m. our song shall rise to thee. Only thou art holy, there is none beside thee. Perfect in power, in love and purity. And start your first cup of water. Take care of .com's litter pan. She's so good about her litter pan. We keep it clean, clean, clean. And put on the stabilizers that help the legs so much from toe way up to the hips. Those stabilizers are so good. And get dressed and make the bed and clear this desk. Things that have been left over from yesterday are strewn about the desk. Clear this desk. Tidy the kitchen. No dishes to wash this morning. Put .com's breakfast to cook. Vegetarian meat. Today she had pork rounds. Vegetarian pork rounds. Delicious. They really are. They smell so good when they cook. And cook the macaroni for the birds. For the boys. And do .com's ablutions. Wash her and make her feel good with a hot, damp washcloth. And wash his desk and pour the spring water. We don't drink the village water because of what General Electric did in 1955, dumping the PCBs in the farms in the outlands here, which seeped into the earth and seeped into the Nassau Lake. So we drink spring water. How do we know that's any good? And take out the recycle and put sand in the hole in the driveway. There used to be a tree in the driveway many, many, many years ago, right in the middle of the driveway. And so I don't think I'll ever fill up that hole, but I keep trying. I put the clean kitty litter sand out there. And then fingerfeed.com. She liked to have me stay with her when she eats and make everything, grate it, make it very small, and put yeast on it, and stay with her, and then keep refilling her dish. And then comes the account. Romans 11:13. For every one of us shall give an account of himself. So what happened since last night and this morning. Make sure that log is up to date. And then a nice thing is looking at the blessings that you give us of yesterday, that we all get together. All of the blessings that we all get together. Not just for you personally, alone, individually. No, none of that. It's for all of us, the blessings that we enjoyed yesterday. And savor them and appreciate them. And then the next